Hey guys, Natalie here. Only One United. Big day today. Unfortunately, it didn't come maybe pan out the way we wanted, but we're here to talk, and I'm not even yet Missy Miyazawa. We'll just say it. Like I need a pronunciation, but I'm here with Alex Bishop. He's a Japan women's football journalist. Alex, just want to tell the people about yourself, and thank you for joining us.
No, Natalie, it's an absolute pleasure and no better occasion, right? So, yeah, you kind of summed me up pretty well there. You probably tell from my accent, I'm a UK guy. Been in Japan for about 10 years, covering mainly the women's game, but also the men's game a little bit as well. Mainly writing stuff, but I do some stuff behind the scenes, some analytical stuff for the likes of Sport Radar. All that's with the women's game. Yeah. So great to be here, and yeah, another move, another big Nadeshiko talent making their way to the WSL.
Yeah, so talk to us about it. Like, first of all, I'm not even gonna kid anyone who's on here. Tell us how you pronounce her name fully, properly, so we can all when the Reds are in the stand, they can sing the song correctly. For where we're ready.
You'll be forgiven for the bit of butchering in the beginning. So, first name Hinata, second name Miyazawa. Hinata Miyazawa. So in Japan, they speak in syllables. So Miyazawa.
Right. Yeah.
So she's going to go with what she does is she has a first name on the shirt, so it'll be Hinata on the shirt. So I think I know Mana Iwabuchi did something similar, but sometimes the Japanese players or many countries they put the first name on the shirt, and that's what she does basically. So
brilliant. Yeah. So this is just now a bit of fun, Alex. Fans, if they were singing a song, what would you think she would prefer us to say, Hinata or Miyazawa? Which one?
Hinata. I think it'll probably be Hinata. To be honest,
that
would be the more kind of endearing one. The more,
yeah. So you've heard that, Reds. Go out there and do it.
I want to hear some examples.
Yeah. We'll like you said, butchering will happen at the start, I'm sure. Jeremy is here. Are you sure the transfer will actually happen? I don't know if you want to say this, Alex, but as far as I'm concerned, from the Man United side, we have heard that it was due today, but due to the men's transfer window, we've not actually had it announced. But yesterday she did a medical, she did all that kind of final stuff, pictures. That's what I've heard from, as well as Man United side. What have you heard, Alex? Have you heard similar?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I can go into. So basically the same as you, Natalie. I've heard that all the formalities have been done, all the admin stuff, all the promo stuff has been done, and what we're waiting on is it's more of to do with the men's deadline being today, and it's more of what the club wants to put out today and what they don't want to put out today and what they want to wait on. So it's that kind of more of a kind of technical thing, which is kind of why we don't have the official release. But again, Natalie, you're the United expert, so
yeah,
it seems like it's the same.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jeremy, we're talking as if it's done here. I would have hoped it would have, we would have been like more people going, but as far as I'm concerned, it's done. And Alex, I suppose what Reds just want to know is where you think, like, what player are we getting in? Like, I'm seeing someone saying she's more a midfielder. She's not going to score a lot of goals, but in the World Cup, she absolutely lit it up. So, what do you think? Like,
so I think it's a good start. This, Natalie. I think we really need to kind of drill down on what kind of player, what profile you guys are actually getting, because she's become synonymous with the Golden Boot, right? World Cup Golden Boot winner. And what kind of players win that? It's these penalty box predators, goal machines, right? She's not that, to be fair. The goals in the World Cup, I mean, she was a standout performer. She was there when it counted, but a lot of it, with respect, sometimes the opposition's not the strongest in the world. Japan did beat Spain in a very impressive 4-0 victory, but it was an unusual game. Spain were kind of unprepared for Japan's new tactics. Japan won't be able to repeat that performance again. So there's a few it's kind of a bit of smoke screen there that we need to be careful of with this player. And the comment before, she's more of a midfield player, is absolutely correct. at club level in Japan, she played for a club that, you know, they would play her sometimes a little bit deeper, not just across the front line, across the front three, but sometimes as a number 8 as well. It's a team that doesn't always play on the front foot. It's not a top 3 team in Japan, quite a strong team, maybe a top 4, but not top 3. So she's not always involved in the goals. She's more of a kind of a very tricky, very skillful build-up player, intricate passing, you know, feeding through balls through to other players for others to score goals, that kind of thing. That's the player you're getting. You're not getting a goal machine. She's not going to come in and start topping the goal scoring charts, as her record at club level would suggest. She's more, as I mentioned, a kind of build-up midfield type player. Yeah.
See, that's very interesting, because I think we did see a lot of goals from her in the World Cup, and I do think people maybe not topping the goal scoring charts, but I think Manchester United wanted 2 forwards. And can you see her playing as a forward? Can you see her playing across the front three maybe for Manchester United, or will it be the deeper?
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of it's a complex question. So she plays on the left side as a left forward, like an inside forward, whatever you call that. All the teams she's played for, the formation she's played, it's usually been 4-3-3, or for Japan, it's 3-4-3, and she's the left side of the front three. So she'll be tucking in, inside forward, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, she could play there, but I believe there's a lot of competition in United at the moment for that spot. So maybe she'll be a rotational player like that. In that case, yeah, then maybe we will see some goals from her. Maybe not the top scorer in the team, but she'll be more of the assister, if you get what I mean. If you're talking about a little bit deeper, now there's like a number 8 role. The thing with that is that she is not. Now, if we compare her to Yui Hasegawa over at City, one of the big differences is that Hinata, she isn't known for her defensive qualities, right? So there's not a lot of tracking back. There's not a lot getting stuck into a tackle. There's not a lot of physicality at all there. We haven't seen any of these qualities from her anyway. It doesn't mean it can't be developed, but at age 23, you think she's kind of at the end of the development cycle, and it might not be the player that she will be, or is. So yeah, so then that kind of bodes the question: is can she play up top as like a striker? And yes, I suppose there have been instances. I'll have to dig out the Y-Scout and see how many times she's actually been deployed as a number 9, but I don't think it's too many. And I think in the WSL, she's not a physical player, so she's not going to be winning headers. She's not going to be having any kind of physical presence in the box. She's more kind of dribbling past and maybe using pace, this kind of thing. So I would say that you're going to be, if you were going for any other, there's probably a lot of other players you'd go for if they were going to play as like a second striker or a number 9. There's even 2 or 3 other Japanese players you'd go for who would fill that role a little bit better. Okay. She's more of a playmaking kind of player. Yeah.
I've got a comment here now. Oh, false 9. Someone says, could you see her doing that? I suppose
a false 9 would be, yeah, you could do, but again, it depends how. I mean, if you're going to play the ball, I don't know how United play, but she's definitely, if you're putting the ball in the air, she's not going to be able to kind of win that ball, right? So, I mean, if you keeping the ball on the deck, possibly if you're playing on the counter, she's definitely, we did see this with Japan, she could be the breakaway player, right? You just give her the ball and she can just sprint up the pitch, because she has a lot of pace, that a lot of other Japanese players don't really have. Technique and pace is kind of a quality. So yeah, it could happen. She hasn't played as a false 9 before. Certainly I haven't seen it, but it is an interesting idea. I don't know if Mark Skinner has that kind of in his mind already, so I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, well, probably not. We play like a 4-2-3-1. It's more like a 4. Well, I can see Manchester United going to a 4-3-3. I think we basically do play a 4-3-3 myself when I watched it. And you talking about that left, and we've got Leah Galton on the left, and I can see Kevin, he's asked the question, we could play Leah Galton in the middle. And what we saw a lot of last year is there was Alessia Russo down the middle and Leah was on the left. That's how it would start, but they would often switch, and I don't know, because I did see that in Japan. It's very fluid, and people, Hinata ended up down the middle, even though maybe she was starting on the left, because like you're saying, that breakaway was happening. And then I know that Jace can pull out to the side. So, I mean, you're talking about, you don't know how, but United do play a lot of the football on the ground. Yes, there are some balls that will go in the air. Jace is a very good header of the ball as well. So I'm sure that, if Hinata put in a ball that, Jace could get on the end of it in terms of headers.
Right.
would you say that she can play right as well, or is it just mainly
she
left?
can, she can, and she does. She can and she does, but she's more known playing on the left and like coming dribbling
Mm.
inside and that kind of thing. But playing on the right, what maybe kind of like a more traditional wing position,
Yeah.
definitely she could do that, I think, and putting balls in as opposed to getting on the end of things. Then yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, Lanzel's here now saying 4-2-3-1, but he wants us to play 4-3-3, and I feel that is maybe a position. If we can do both very well, it would be a great kind of thing. Brian, I hope I'm saying your name right, but it doesn't require traditional number 9. So yeah, I mean, Lanzel's brought up a topic now, and I'm going to mention it. Rotation. That's what's happening in Man United. We need a lot of rotation. Hopefully, going into the Champions League, we're going to see that. Leah Galton was a key player on the left, but like I said, we were seeing her coming in, cutting inside, being in the middle. When times, when someone needed to score a goal, Leah was coming into the middle, and it was that swap with Alessia, and it's. I mean, can you see? It's going to be interesting, I suppose, for Man United. But I mean, what's the view from Japan of this deal? Like you said, you talked about. I forgot the City girl's name, but you talked about her being. Obviously, I'm guessing that was a very. I'm not forgetting it because it's City. It's just literally gone out of my head.
Hasagawa, Yui Hasagawa, right?
Hasagawa, yeah, Hasagawa, and there are a lot of Japanese players in the WSL. But this is the first Japanese woman at Man United Women. It's a massive thing. We've obviously had Shinji Kagawa for the men, but this is like the second Japanese player of all. There's a very big Man United fan base, I feel like, out there. So how is it, I suppose, going, the feeling that she's going to sign for Manchester United? How is that? Is it a bit more than maybe Hasagawa signing for City because of the fan base, or is it sort of the similar? What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. But the first thing I'll say is that in Japan, in my opinion, they don't do enough, to promote the women's game and that kind of thing. And of course, the WSL. But a club like Man United, I mean, in Japan, they're massive, right? They've got a very big fan base, and not just because of Shinji Kagawa, but before that, any kind of big team and stuff, all the way through the 90s, very popular team in Japan. And this is only just going to enhance that, I feel. It's definitely going to, probably get a few more eyes in Japan on the game, on the WSL, which will really help things. Has been happening a little bit with City, right? And City have a few Japanese sponsors now. I think Asahi Beer and Nissan they've had for a long time. Maybe a little bit of that as well is going to come United's way. So I think, the feeling's going to be, it's going to be really, really kind of good, The people are going to be really hoping that she does well, and we can see Man United going deep into the Champions League with Miyazawa having a key part in all that success. So I think the feeling's going to be good.
Yeah, no, definitely, because that's what I suppose is going to be good for Man United, like you're saying, if it can get a few more Japanese sponsors or maybe even women-only sponsors through Miyazawa being sort of there, and like you said, eyes on the game. It's only good for the whole game, I suppose, not just Man United and the WSL. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see that reaction and people talking about it out there. Has there been talks in the newspapers out there yet, or not really?
Yeah, there's been a few, but because there's no official. A lot of the newspapers, they'll wait for the official release, but of course they're no stranger. They're not shy about kind of transfer rumors. So yeah, they were all over it when it was Liverpool linked. They were all over that, and then this one's been doing the rounds as well, signing imminent, all that kind of stuff. So there's been a lot of talk, in women's football circles here in Japan. Whenever one of their own, whenever a Japanese player kind of goes off overseas to a big name like United or whoever, there's usually a lot of interest. So and when it's official, of course, that's just going to be all the more.
Oh, Jeremy's got a bit of a question. I suppose it depends how you feel about it. He sort of said, can't see her being happy sitting on the bench, and in my opinion, I can't see it. But I mean, what's your views on?
Right. So yeah. Okay, so I think we mentioned in the green room before there, Natalie, that I've spoke a little bit over the past couple of days with some of the coaches in Japan and some of the agents who know her, might be a little bit closer than I am to the deal and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of skepticism is kind of about the suitability of the league for Miyazawa. And to put it simply, it's kind of the physical element of the WSL and English football in general, right? And how it compares to Japan. Japan, very technical, like we said before, ball on the deck, all about kind of technique. Whereas in England, with things like the weather are kind of tough. The players are very physical. Is she going to adapt to that? And is she going to adapt to that quite quickly, And given the depth that United have, how much game time can we realistically expect? Which is to be expected. United, a top 4 club, of course, any player coming in should struggle, to be fair. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of an assimilation time. Some of the stuff off the pitch, language, culture, that's going to take a little bit of time. I'm sure a lot of United fans probably wouldn't want to see her hanging out with Yui Hasegawa over at Man City out in the Arndale Centre or something like that. Maybe they will, but they'll keep it off Instagram. That'll help anyway, that there's friends close. This will take a little bit of time. The style of football as well. Yeah, bit of a doubt there. Is she going to be really impactful? We'll have to wait and see. How much game time will she get? It looks like, if we look at the facts on the ground, probably rotation is going to be the role, right? And that means, if United are kind of going deep in all the competitions, there's a lot of football, a lot of games to go around, then I think, in my opinion, I'd kind of, as long as she's kind of getting stuck in, scoring goals here and there, assisting here and there, really contributing from time to time, I'd kind of take that. And I don't think that the Paris 2024 place, the spot there, assuming Japan qualify, would be in too much doubt. She'd definitely be on the team sheet. But if it's a situation like we had with Mane Iwabuchi at Arsenal, where she was on the bench forever, not getting in, struggling with, to maintain fitness, all this kind of stuff, then probably what I'd expect to happen there. The Japan coach, Futoshi Ikeda, he's quite strict on his players playing football. You have to play if you want to be in the side. Something might happen where we get round to the January window and then there'd be a loan move on the cards. Hopefully that wouldn't be the case, right? Hopefully she'd be able to get enough game time at United. But that it is a kind of a reality that might be faced. And I think a lot of the people I've spoken to, coaches, agents alike, they're kind of thinking that might be the path that this goes, if she can't crack.
Time. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I suppose with the Liverpool move, there was probably no disrespect to them. Obviously, I know they're a big name in the men's game, but in the women's game, they're maybe a bit more mid-table-ish. That's, so obviously when United came in, I have seen people saying, the draw of the Champions League and, Manchester United. And obviously, like you said, we're higher up. We're expected to go deeper into competitions. That was all a factor. But obviously, potentially with Liverpool, she was, you're never guaranteed, but more guaranteed of playing time. And I mean, do you hear the same thing? Do you feel the same thing? Jeremy sort of saying it, Liverpool seems better.
Yeah, I do. I do think that, and it doesn't have to be Liverpool. We could just say any non-top 4 club that also has a Japanese player, right? Would be the common sense approach. Maybe this seems that, excuse me. I don't know if there's kind of been whoever the agent is or what advice or what she's been promised, this kind of stuff. It seems like she's just gone for like the biggest club kind of thing, and it's going to try and fight her way into the team. If it works out, great, but if not, then it could be a kind of a bit of a bad episode for all. I mean, going back to Yui Hasegawa again, she didn't start out at City, of course. She was at West Ham for a little bit, right, to kind of get herself used to the WSL, used to the football in England and all that kind of stuff, and then made the big move, and we've seen how that's paid off. So it seems as though Hinata Miyazawa's kind of skipped all that, going straight for the big clubs, and maybe there's some promise of game time. Maybe, you never know what they have planned for her. She has been quite versatile in the past. She's played in like very kind of fluid attacking systems, very counter systems, and played all the way across the front three. So we don't know. Maybe there's more to come from her, right? So the plan might be a little bit deeper than what we actually think it to be. But yeah, to answer your question directly, I think perhaps one of those teams could have been the better start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Vicky, I've just sort of brought it off of it, says that she likes that we're signing different profiles of players, gives us different options tactically and flexibly. She wants to see better game management from Mark, and I do feel that we are going to see that. I mean, again, I hope I say your name, Brian. I hope I can't say your first bit, but this is a season where Mark proves to us that he is a top coach, because the talent in the squad is crazy, and it does seem like, like you said, that Liverpool move was, I heard that it was done like, boom, quick, rapid, United swooped in and it's the kind of things that we see on a deadline day kind of thing, in the men's side, but these kind of hijacking is happening a bit more in the women's side. So yeah, you would think that even though probably, you know, the caliber is a bit higher at Man United, she would have known that maybe the game time was going to be less, but like you said, maybe have that, you know, guarantee that I'm still gonna play, because like people are saying, she's a quality player. Alex, I don't suppose you know this one from Lansell, contract length or anything like that?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. I can usually it's quite hard. I can dig around a bit after the
Yeah.
hand, but
Listen, dig around, drop it back on
yeah.
the Twitter. I know it's not called Twitter, but you know, the Twitter thread, and
Yeah,
definitely we'll share that out if you let us know. Yeah, because like you're saying, if you know, it is kind of, I don't want to say this in a horrible way, but people have said, oh, it's sort of as if, you know, you know, we know Manchester United wanted Kerolin. We've done videos about it here. We've had Rich, Catherine, we've had a lot of people. Man United were going all out for Kerolin, and yes, she's a different profile from that, but it's like what Vic said. You know, I think they have thought about it. I don't think, because I think people are saying, "Oh, is it a panic buy?" I mean, what do you think, Alex? Do you think it's a panic? I don't think it is, because I think there's a lot of strikers on the market, and obviously they've highlighted her as one. I know you're saying, but there's a lot of forward players on the market. When the Kerolin deal probably was last week, didn't happen when she played again. You know, there's still a lot of available people. You know, they could have gone for anyone, but they sort of zoned in and went quickly for Hinata. I hope I said that right. Yeah, do you want
to? No, yeah. I mean, it is a strange one, you know, and I can only hope that there's some kind of footballing intelligence behind it, which you would expect from a club like United, right? My first fear when I kind of saw it all come through is that it looks like it's a very typical World Cup transfer, a transfer that's made on the back of a World Cup, where the games and the performances are not a good representation of the kind of player that they actually are. And this is true for the men and the women, right? You know, Golden Boot winner, let's just go with that. It's a Japanese player. Maybe there's some kind of commercial interest in getting this player. Also, she probably would have come for quite a good price, coming straight from Japan, right? Where salaries and things like that and transfer fees are very, very low, in most people's opinion. Maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, it does seem like for both for player and club, they've kind of, I don't know. I mean, I really hope there's a little bit more logic to it, but it does seem to be a bit of a disparity. What kind of player they're getting and what kind of opportunity the player is going to be given. It doesn't really make a lot of sense on the face of things, is what I would say. I don't know.
No. I mean, do you think people are now can see people talking about the games that we've got coming up? We've got a few, you know, big preseason games to play. Do you think? I mean, are other Japanese players back with clubs and training now? I know they sort of went semi-deep in the
they're back there. So I mean, in Japan, I think everybody's back now. We have the kind of preseason Wii League Cup. It's basically the League Cup that's played in preseason. That's going on right now. So all of the players who are in the World Cup, I think all of them are back there. And the ones who are overseas, they're back now as well. So I think it's all raring to go.
So yeah, hopefully she, you know, like I said, we're flying out on Monday. Noelle sort of has told people to a camp in Germany, and then we're going to play. We're going to stay there for a bit, you know, do some training over there, and then play Bayern Munich, and then come back and we play Spurs and Liverpool. So there's going to be chance for it to build up before the 1st of October. The 1st of October, obviously, is the opening day of WSL. So there's time for it to get used to, I suppose, Man United, Mark Skinner's way of wanting to play. And, you know, a lot of people who do watch Mark Skinner, and tell me I'm wrong, guys, but, you know, he does like to be fluid. We've seen it even with the very first preseason game that we had recently. People were moving in and out of positions. The fullbacks are high, bombing up. You know, I think he likes to swarm the kind of teams and pressure them. And like you're saying, you were talking about breaking away. That's definitely something that we can play, counter attack. But I think he tries to be quite technical and play the ball along the ground and have players moving and have players cutting in and being able to sort of do multiple positions. So I think playing across the front three for us and if you're saying she can do that, I think she will get on. I think she will get game time, and you know, I think a lot of people, they are fighting to get, you know, play every game. But like you say, we went all the way to the final of the FA Cup. Maybe didn't do as well in the League Cup, but you know, that's the kind of where we want to be as Manchester United. We want to be at the top of the league, in the finals, you know, kind of thing, winning the trophies. And I'm guessing that's what she wants as well. That's why she's chosen Man United.
I'm
You
sure.
think?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, she's here for success, that's for sure. But no, everything you've said there about the playing style, at least what Mark's going to likes to do, he's probably looked at the Japan team and thought that kind of fits what my way of thinking is, and she probably fits right into that. The question is kind of, can she adapt to the English game? We'll have to see. And if she can work her way into the squad, then it will be quite a good asset if things go well.
Yeah, I mean, Vicky's saying let's not put too much pressure on her and expectations, but she does look super talented. I know Zoe Media House has said something. I'm just trying to find it. Do you feel like we're lacking a goal scorer now? Russo has left. And it's an interesting question. I think Russo contributed 10 goals, but Leah, like I said, contributed goals as well. And I feel like last year we had a lot of goal scorers. So we had Leah, who had 10, Russo, who had 10, Lucia, who had 8. I think Vilda had a few. Hayley Ladd had a couple. So these are, and when I'm talking about Ladd and Vilda, these are midfielders, that thing. And I think with United, we like to share the goals out. And I think, like if you were saying, Alex, Man United, she'll contribute a lot. So if it's putting the balls through as well, we have a lot of pacey players who can score. So it's gonna be, you know, I think for us as well, if she can assist a lot of goals, that'll be key. If she can create chances. I found that Man United's issue last year in some games was the creation. Maybe sometimes they weren't as creative. They weren't moving the ball quick enough. They could be slow.
Right.
Do you think she'll add a pace maybe and speed it up and, like you say, threading it through?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that all sounds like music to Japanese ears, to be honest. The only thing I'd add there is kind of a bit of a drawback is defense. I think I mentioned it before, but the defensive, she has all of that, everything you've just said, and the footballing brain to kind of create. But the defensive responsibilities probably isn't going to be there. It's certainly not really. It wasn't there at the World Cup. Maybe a little bit in Japan, and then in the WSL with the physical disadvantage that Japanese players find themselves at, that's the only kind of drawback that you're probably not going to get. But everything else in terms of creation, that's there. And if that's the style that Skinner's going to implement, successfully implement, then it could be on.
For me, I think the only issue would be in the terms of the physical would be, I mean, I don't like to see it getting pushed off the ball easily, but I think that the Japan team, they did play a lot of games, and for example, the Swedish game, that's probably was their downfall, wasn't it? That the Swedish team were very big and physical, and I mean, it's something that she can grow to. I mean, what do you think? Do you think she can learn that maybe to stay on her feet and stay strong? Or
we hope so. I mean, it's quite hard to actually learn it. I mean, it's just basically be quicker, right? Be quicker, more mobile, and if you're not going to get past them, then win the foul. It is kind of the idea. Just release the ball quite quickly. There's only so much when we talk about getting quite technical, right? I mean, if we're talking about like physical and muscle development and that kind of stuff, there's only so much that we can do in terms of this. But no, usually the Japanese just play around that with very quick passing in a Japanese team, and it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, if she's up against an opposition like the Swedes, how they just kind of cut everything down and were just physical enough to barge anyone off the ball with all the passing lanes kind of covered in that, then that will be a struggle.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be people around. I mean, I've already seen people in the comments talking about Cooney Cross, and that's a player that we have been linked to as well. And well, they share the same agency, so that's a name that might come in the midfield that can play a ball quicker. And I feel like Manchester United, that's what we need, to move the ball a lot quicker. I mean, just personal opinions, I suppose, Alex. Like, what do you think that, I suppose, you can see happening, and I suppose how she will settle? A lot more than me. Like you said, There's I forget the City player, but there's players in the Northwest that are Japanese.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, pretty much like any Japanese player that goes overseas. So I think in the case of with Miyazawa, I think she's going to be kind of carefully dripped into the side. She probably won't start, at least in the league, for a while. It'll take a little bit of time. But I think that eventually. Now I've just mentioned. I think it was Jeremy there that kind of mentioned something about Hasegawa and Shimizu. Shimizu being the one at West Ham and Hasegawa at City, not having a problem. No, they didn't. They didn't. They've never had a problem with the physical, even when they were back in Japan and playing for Japan. Yet they've managed that quite well. Doesn't mean they have physical stature, but they do kind of. They've got a stout kind of stature that means they don't get pushed off the ball. Hasegawa is very precise and very committed in the tackle. And we've seen that all the way throughout. With in the case of Miyazawa, there is no evidence to kind of suggest that that's part of a game. Doesn't mean that she can't learn it, but so far we haven't really seen anything like that. Hopefully, she can learn these things and add these things as she's going through her life in the WSL. And that'll just kind of help things along greatly. But yeah, like I say, I think it'll be a careful introduction. And I think that, she'll play, fingers crossed, everything goes well with United. As we say, go deep in many, many competitions, and there's enough games, enough minutes to go around, and she really can contribute. Playing in the Champions League, she might come across, I don't know, I'm not sure who you guys have drawn, but say opposition coming from like Spain or countries where it's less physical, there's less reliance on the physical attributes, this kind of thing. She might do a little bit better in those kind of games, which will be good to see. So I think she'll have a part to play. We'll just have to see if she can get enough game time for it to be a kind of a long stay at United.
No, thank you for adding this. I suppose people, I saw John sort of question about other Japanese players. I hope you don't mind if we asked you a few of those questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think John said about the left back of Japan. Is it Endo?
Jun Endo, right? She's in the States.
Yeah. How is she? Is she available? Is she, is she a good player? I think she would do well if she came to the WSL. I don't.
She's probably one of the best players. Many might say she's actually the best player. Left wing back, she plays for Japan, but she can play like as the left-sided forward. Angel City in the NWSL. I don't think they're going to let her go anytime soon, right? So, definitely there's a home for her in the WSL. But I think she's quite committed, and from what I know, she has a life over in the States that's quite committed. Okay. One of the better ones.
Fair enough. Yeah, because even Lanzel's saying we need a fullback. So yeah.
You have to get the right back. Maybe the one at West Ham, Risa Shimizu. She's an excellent one. So if you kind of looked at that WSL experience, right? We just spoke about it when Jeremy raised the question before. Maybe a top 4 team, she could be one away potentially. And then you've got your pair of Japanese players. Japanese so the language talk to each other. So.
I think I'm excited for Hinata Miyazawa. I think she's gonna. I don't know. I mean, yes, I think there'll be that expectation from maybe people who are just watching for the first time. Oh, she won the Golden Boot. I think we'll see a lot of narrative around that from papers, which we know. Which we know happens. Potentially, big brands that come in. Oh, 2 + 2 = 4. When you said to us that that's not going to probably happen. But,
sure, it's well, I think it's exciting times, right? To see how she challenges it and see where it goes and stuff like that. I mean, it's a first move over to the WSL, so hopefully she takes it by the horns, and and great things will come of it. But it'll be excellent to see.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, Alex, I mean, if there's any more questions, I know it's just been a whistle-stop tour really this tonight of Miyazawa. Like you said, we hope it's announced anytime soon. We know it's going to be announced anytime soon. And, for me, I think we wanted 2 forward. We now have got Jay-Z and we've got, Jace and Miyazawa. So, there'll be a period of settling, I think, for both of them, even though, Jace has come from Barca. I still think they both need a period of settling, and I'm excited for what's happened already in this transfer window. Like I said, that's our two forwards done. Midfield, like I said, we'll go into it a bit later, but Cooney Cross, that's a name that we're hearing. And then a fullback. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying in the comments, Pluncher from Leicester, but we'll have to wait and see. But for Miyazawa tonight, I'm delighted that she's joined Man United. Like I said, I think you'll see a lot of people on your timeline, Alex, when it's all out there. And, you know, like any fans who want to come back and watch this, do and listen back to you. And I'm sure as well, if fans wanted to like message you questions after, I mean, I've had your handle, but do you want to tell everyone like where to check you out if it's not just Twitter, anywhere else?
If it's not just X, you mean?
X,
yeah, no,
yeah.
pretty much. No, X is where I'm at all the time. So if you want to at me, DM me with a couple of questions. I'm usually there when things are kicking off. So yeah, I'll be fully expecting it when the first goal goes in. So
yeah, definitely. And John, we have to take our time. We're just learning how to say the name. Let us go. We'll have one. Listen. And when we have it, we'll tag you, Alex, yeah?
Excellent. I'll be listening to that.
I'm sure you'll be hearing it. Yeah. Listen, guys, yeah, hopefully we get the announcement soon. I just want to say thank you for coming on. Like I said, this is just a one pod about Hinata, so there'll be other, maybe come back next week and we'll be talking about someone else, but it's looking good, guys, you know, the players that we're getting in, and I'm excited to see how they're all going to fit in and what's going to happen. Like you said, going deep, this is what we want, silverware, feels better now. It feels like it's our year, kind of, maybe, and hopefully we can get the trophies that we want. Listen, guys, take care. Thank you, Alex, so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. See you later, guys. Bye.
Cheers. Good evening.